Hello YouTube, this is Dbtgamer Show, episode 165. Now, in the 90s, a lot of game companies tried to copy off Nintendo by making 3D platformer games. And Sony's idea was Spyro the Dragon. Spyro series is a pretty good series. I've already reviewed Spyro 3 and it's a very good game, but Spyro 1, it is rather basic. Anyway, let's get started with the review. Compared to Spyro 3. That's my PS2 setup. Let's start the review. Now, Spyro 1 is a pretty good, but very basic 3D platformer. I've only ever beaten this game once, 100%. When I was younger, I could actually never beat Dbtgamer for some reason. Don't know why, I just couldn't. Anyway, let's just load my file up and then I can start the review off properly. Alright, well the story for Spyro the Dragon, it is pretty simple. Basically, an evil goblin ogre sort of character called Dbtgamer has turned all Spyro's friends into crystals. And it's Spyro's job to go around the world, free all the dragons, collect all the gems, and also rescue the dragon eggs. Although the dragon eggs don't really have any role at all because there isn't really that much to them in this game. All the dragon eggs are just extra collectible in this game, whereas in Spyro 3 they were the main objective. The main objective in this game is the dragons themselves and the gems, and that's it. Well, the graphics for this game, I think they're rather good. It's very good 3D, and it looks pretty much on par with what the N64 could produce. Controls for the game. The controls for this game are also very good. X jumps, X twice you can glide. Triangle zooms in, so you can see things from Spyro's point of view. Circles you flame, and squares you charge. There's no hover move in this game. Instead, if you press jump and jump, glide, triangle, Spyro just immediately stop. So if you played Spyro 2 before you played Spyro 1, you will find it's an immediate problem because you'll be so used to having the hover ability. And the hover ability, it's annoying that it's not there because you'll find yourself instantly pressing that triangle button just to get that little bit of extra height, and it won't work. It'll be rather annoying. L2 and R2 rotate and pivot your camera, which works really well. Left analog stick moves you around, or you can use the arrow buttons, but personally prefer to use the analog stick because you get a bit more precision. The right analog stick does nothing. Select brings up your Atlas, and pause brings up your pause menu. One thing that is unique to Spyro 1 that is not featured in any other Spyro game, as far as I know, is this move. Press L1 or R1, you can do these little rolls on the floor, which is actually quite useful for dodge attacks. But for some bizarre reason, these moves weren't included in Spyro 2 and 3. But they are quite useful, I think. Gameplay is a 3D platformer, and it's a pretty good one. Good Spice game. The Good Spice game, the story is pretty good, although it's simple. The cutscenes are quite good. Some of them are quite funny. A lot of the cutscenes serve as tutorials. I'll just show off one right now. Here's one of the dragon cutscenes.
Where's Nasty Nork? I'll torch him.
Keep your horns on, Spyro. You have much to learn first. Do you know what the dragonfly following you is doing? His name is Sparks, and he's helping and protecting you. Keep an eye on him and see what I mean.
And that's just an example of a cutscene that I can see in. The voice acting in this game is actually pretty good as well. That's one thing the Spyro games had that the that Mario 64 didn't have. Mario 64 had very little voice acting, whereas Spyro is basically fully voice acted. The gameplay for the game is also very good. If you stand to collect it for you find things that are that you need to find, and you use these things to progress through the game. Example: certain levels will need a certain amount of dragons to get through the door. Certain levels will need a certain amount of gems, and on rare occasions you will need the dragon eggs, but very rare occasions at that. This is one of the very first levels of the game. I'm not going to show off too many levels today because I don't want to spoil for people who haven't played this game before. So I'm going to just show off a few levels from the first world. This is Dark Hollow. In Dark Hollow there's 100 gems and 3 dragons. Killing these little throw things gives you butterflies, and the butterflies replenish your health. If you want to gain more lives in Spyro, if you kill enemies you already killed before, you can pick up orbs. If you pick up about, I think it's about 10 to 15 of these orbs, you can earn extra life. Unlike in the other Spyro games where you just keep picking up butterflies and eventually you'll get one. If you look at it, you can also find dragon statues, and these dragon statues can also give you an extra life. Since I'm going to talk about collectibles. The way the collectibles work is the collectibles basically serve as your keys to opening new levels, and certain levels will have certain requirements so you can get to that level. Example: one level may need 5 dragons and 5 gems and 2 eggs. So basically what you got to do is find enough of these things in order for you to access the next level. It's a pretty simple concept, it seems to work. Certain enemies can't be taken down by charging. You may have to deploy the flame, which is quite useful. There's also some powered up versions of your attacks, but I'll talk about them later. I'm going to exit this level for now, and I'm going to talk about one of the very first bosses in the game. The boss in this game, some of them are hard, some of them are easy, and some of them are just plain weird. One of the bosses you fight very late in the game is this Jack-in-a-Box, which is quite funny. Alright, here's the first boss. This one's called Toasty. The boss levels, there isn't really that much to do in them. There's usually 2 dragons, or sometimes only even 1, and there's usually a very small amount of gems. The boss levels are usually very easy to get around because it's basically a linear path, whereas the normal levels, they can sometimes have a little bit of a maze complex to them. If you haven't noticed, Sparks keeps changing colours. The reason why Sparks keeps changing colours is because gold means full health, blue means he's taken 1 hit, green means only 1 hit left, and no Sparks means you're going to die next hit. So you got to keep your eye on Sparks at all times. Whoops. I'm just going to rush through this level now and try and find the boss. As you can see, the boss levels are quite linear. Most of the time it's just a straight path to the boss. Quite often the boss levels, the bosses will just run away after you've damaged a bit, then you'll fight them later in the level. Also quite often the dragon will give you a tip against how to beat the boss, but the boss is not too difficult. This one, all you have to do is just keep flaming it until it eventually dies. The only problem with these bloody wolves that try and body slam you. Yeah, that's one of the boss levels like YouTube. They're pretty straightforward. The next level I want to show off is a speedway. Speedway is probably my favourite levels types in the game. Speedways, well, as the name says, they're all about speed, but there's a little bit more to them than that. Another thing that's kind of annoying about Spyro 1 is that Spyro can't swim, so if you touch water you will either lose health or you'll instantly die. This is the very first speedway of the game. It's called Sunny Flight. It's a pretty easy speedway. Basically, the way speedways work is you have to complete a certain number of challenges in order to gain time. Now, the first time into a speedway, you'll be given a certain amount of time. Example, you'll be given 30 seconds, and if you complete a certain task, you can get more time, and also if you complete that certain task, you get more gems. And the idea is to complete every task in the level to get all the gems all in one go, so you can complete the level. What's good about the speedways, I think, is that you can actually fly all the time whenever you want. I mean proper flying, not just gliding. If you press the X button, you can fly a little bit faster if you tap it quickly. See, in this level, you got to get all the barrels. You got to fly through all the archers. You got to kill all the planes. And you got to find all the treasure chests. And if you manage to do all that, you can get a nice big score of gems. There aren't any dragons in the speedways. Speedways are just there so you can get more gems. Are they essential to the game's quest? No, you don't have to do them, but if you're a completionist and you want to get everything in this game, they're still good levels. They're one of my favourite levels in the Spyro series because I like the ability to fly anywhere you want it. And the flying controls of Spyro work really well. I just exit this level and I'll talk about some more stuff. And the other thing that exists in this game is also power-ups. Basically, in the game, there are several power-ups which can improve Spyro's abilities. One example of a power-up is, in some levels you may see some arrows on the floor, and these arrows will give Spyro's charge power a lot. They can do a lot more damage, so you can plow through walls, plow through big enemies, and open big chests and that sort of thing. And your power up in this game, actually, let's look at a different world. Throughout the game, I think there's about 6 or 7 worlds. Each world has a selection of portals. The whole worlds are quite big, and at times it can be a little bit difficult to get around, a little bit confusing. But once you work them out, you can get around pretty easily. Now, as I was saying, I talk about the power-ups. Supercharge is pretty useful, although it's difficult to control sometimes. Anyway, YouTube, I've run out of time, so the next part I will talk about a few more levels and I'll go into my complaints.